Previously, on Launch Control, Road to Gymkhana.
First time I saw the car, I just thought, I am Batman.
We were going to build a car just for this, because that's the only way to live up to this moment of Subaru taking Gymkhana back.
Thanks everyone for being here. A bunch of new faces, one of them being Travis.
We'll learn on the fly, as they say. It's like nitrophysics.
We could tell when he was practicing it and just him on the radio, he was like, I don't think I can get this car to spin.
It was like the worst possible start that we could have had.
Yeah, we might need to tow you out of that.
Probably did $15,000 worth of damage. I called Ken and I was like, dude, you might have picked the wrong person. I don't know if I can do it.
This is Launch Control, Road to Gymkhana. Day one of the 4-day production has not gone as planned.
Travis was doing a series of donuts and he slid off the table, which got the car stuck, did some damage on the bodywork, and blew out the power steering seal, which caused a small fire the team was able to put out.
Oh, a lot of cleaning. It's a powder in the cockpit, so most of it we can vacuum out, and the engine bay is a liquid, so we can just wash it out, and it saved the car, so not bad in the end. We're gonna rebuild it because it's quite a bit of work to change the quarter panel, so we're gonna do our best to repair it and make it look like new again.
You have to try to get through the week in one piece, and you know there's a lot more still to go through, so it's all about maintaining the car, keeping it 100% at the beginning of each day.
But part of this game is there's going to be a fair amount of carnage, and we need to accept that and be prepared for that and just see what happens.
Now the team is faced with a long night in the workshop. By morning, the car and its star driver are ready to turn the page.
Day two is definitely different because everything was at the marina, which was our home base.
We had the idea of doing some kind of Easter egg with a production car. So at SOA, we started to kick around the idea of, hey, what if we could do something really cool with this brand new BRZ?
We're working with a handmade prototype BRZ here. It's essentially irreplaceable. So yeah, we're taking a risk, but at the same time, we think it's well worth it.
That was hard. I felt like my career was on the line. I felt like if we crashed that car, I was getting fired.
Every day of filming is filled with risk assessment and stressful decisions. Day two is no exception. With so much at stake, Scott Speed is brought in to take the wheel of the BRZ.
You get some rest last night? How are you, buddy? Good. I'm going to be making my stunt driving debut. Pretty excited about that. Many years of driving race cars, no years of stunt work.
So they had this idea of the BRZ doing these donuts around some poles, you know, sort of synchronized with the car that Travis was driving.
And he shows up on set, he's all ready to go, and he goes, just FYI, I've never done a donut before, so this should be interesting. And
I'm like, Scott, have you never won anything? He's like, yeah, I just get out and I stand on the car.
How have you, how do you get to that level as a driver? And he doesn't do victory donuts, he never does donuts. It's just not his thing.
Travis is great. I literally asked him, so if you're gonna do this, would you do this in first gear or second gear? And then so I just kind of did what he said he would do.
Stunt driver engaged. Before a race, I am 2 out of 10 nervous. Before this, I'm at a 7 or an 8 nervous.
A brief test is proof of concept.
Got to work on the handbrake entrance a little bit, but he's amazing.
I'm so nervous. I was like, oh God.
Love it.
You know, I sort of took to it like a duck to water. I could just control the car with the throttle and I could position it really well. The BRZ is an amazing machine, so it made my life easy.
With the fog lifting and both cars ready to roll, day two of filming begins.
You know, they say, well, one guy needs to be able to just do a constant and the other guy just needs to miss them. So I was like, I'll do the constant. I'm just gonna do donuts and you miss me. It'll be super exciting. I got a helmet on now, so you know things are getting serious.
I'm that guy. Scott's coming in, I gotta time not only my donuts, but Scott's donuts and try not to kill the Gymkhana car or his one-of-a-kind production car that's probably more expensive and definitely more important.
3, 2, 1, action.
Dude, it's freaking awesome. Good work.
I made it. Thank gosh. At the beginning, the plan was I'd just get to do mine and not have to worry about Travis, but it became very clear that as soon as we were both in there, we both had to be modulating how quickly we were going around our axis to make sure we'd miss each other, because there wasn't a huge window for failure there.
One take wonder, we're going on to the next stunt, and for me, that just felt like we might actually get through today.
And it looked sick.
Yeah.
It looked good on all the cameras.
Yeah.
I was stoked about that.
Yeah, we were sitting here like
cringing,
fully locked up. It looked great. So Travis and Scott just talked, and Scott got in the car and did perfect donuts the first time out and didn't destroy the car, which probably saved my job. So I guess I owe him a debt of gratitude.
It's a good start to the day, and the team is getting into the groove after a long year of preparation.
When we released the bare carbon photos from the Montana tests, that was the day. We had the opportunity to show it to the world. This is the new Gymkhana car. It's a Subaru, it's built by Vermont Sports Car, it's all carbon everything. That was a huge deal. The amount of press attention, the amount of fan attention, the conversation online about what does all this stuff do? Why does it have all these things on it? In what new direction is Travis Pastrana going to take this thing in?
Really kind of set the wheels in motion that we're going filming at some point, and this car is going to do whatever it's designed to do.
You know, we're not worried about running into other cars or other cars running into us. So we were able to get away with having mostly carbon fiber. It's mostly pre-preg. We do a little bit of infusion. And there's a couple of pieces on there that use a hybrid Kevlar and carbon fiber. So once we work out all those details, they get on the 3D printer, they print out what we call a buck. Once the molding process is done, then we can begin actually making a part.
You know, they had pretty high expectations, a lot riding on it, you know, as we put a lot into it and make the detail really good on everything.
Trim it, sand it, make it look nice, and then from there, the guys can have it, and Brett can wrap it up. The guys fit it on the car.
The carbon photo reveal announced to the world what was coming, but under the carbon was a level of detail that extended far beyond the curves and winglets.
The exhaust is made out of Inconel. The tip was 3D printed so they could put the STI logo in it. Was kind of a neat little detail. When the flames are blowing out through there, the STI glows pretty good.
We're able to do more things with the driveline, you know, try some new parts out, like gearboxes that we wanted to try on the rallycross cars.
It's one which has the gears internally are wider to be able to cope with the torque and the power output. We've enhanced the electronics of the car, added an additional display so that we can see functions. We have a drift timer on there to monitor when the car's sideways.
We can reprogram the buttons depending on the shoot or the feature we want. The send it button is for the wing actuation. So as he's going over the jump, it will set a speed limit so he can hit the jump at the correct speed and also actuate the wing. We have shake and bake on the wheel. Currently, bake is set up to generate flames. Normally, we're trying to run the engine very efficiently. This one is all about making the flames and pops and bangs, yeah.
Details like the underside of the car, the floor pans. We took away stock floor pans and put in flat floors. All of these are designed to aid the performance of the car and also to aid its serviceability and how the car performs.
You know, it's not just form over function, it's form and function, I guess.
In some ways, it's everything I wanted to build before I came to work here, for just a wild, like, do everything type of car with massive aero, exhaust out the hood.
Like a track car type thing that you can go do anything you want, drive over anything you want, jump anything you want. It was like, it's the car you want.
So to achieve the end result of a car that can come out of the box and tick all the boxes, and to basically demonstrate the team Vermont Sports Car to the world, here we are. This is what we can do. This is a product that we can build. Come take us on.
This is what Subaru was able to come up with for this huge moment of bringing it back to the brand.
Back on set, production is now moving swiftly.
Hey guys, Travis Pastrana here on set.
And after nailing a sequence of successful shots, Travis is hitting his stride.
I think the real question on everyone's mind right now definitely in my mind, is was staying on by an inch and a half perfect, or if you drop a tire, will that look cooler? Or if you drop a tire, will it just suck the whole car in the water? We're about to find out.
The way it was set up, I mean, if the car was going to go in, the whole car was going to go in. Yeah, there was a whole dive team. You know, there's a lot of people for that stunt, just because of the risk. If something happened to the car, went in the water, you know, they wanted to be able to react fast. So honestly, we didn't really have a plan, I don't think, for much, except for whatever happens, deal with it.
That one was definitely pretty high stakes, especially knowing like Scotto's history of pushing Ken to the limit and saying, oh, you know, just a little further, or a little closer, and Travis wanting to, you know, sort of one-up Ken and make sure that he did it a little bit better, or a little bit bigger than Ken did.
As the team braces for the worst, it's the camera crew that takes the brunt of the bad luck.
All right, hold him, Eliza, hold him. If you could help us, Joey, we lost the camera. That was really good until it wasn't.
It's a cool shot, but I just feel like it needs that shot there to make it work.
So all the shots you showed me aren't...
The ones that Ron just showed you, yeah, are not physically in hand right now.
Well, that sucks.
Yep.
They reset and prepare for one more take. It was a costly shot, but the team ends the day happy to move on.
This was the only shot, like there's a couple shots that are very Gymkhana, but Ken Block put a tire almost over the edge, and I'm so glad the camera broke when I got over the edge the first time, because then we had to do it again.
I'm trying to like learn how to work with Travis, and it's all about like making him think it's over, and then you're like, I'll give you one, I'll give you another one. We never say one more time in this business, but that was great.
At the end of the day, I realized a lot about myself. I am best when everything is going to absolute anarchy, and I send it in faster than I ever should. I pull the handbrake and see what happens. The whole idea behind the Gymkhana series is that you film all these amazing stunts in secret. I mean, heck, Ken Block shut down the Golden Gate Bridge, and I didn't hear anything until, you know, until it came out.
The ramp was built, the car was ready to go, the speedboat was ready to go, the Skyco, and this crowd started to assemble.
It's a small city. It's not like LA where you get a film permit and do something in LA. People don't even notice, right? It's a normal occurrence, right? But that's not a normal occurrence in Annapolis.
Word gets out quick, and people are smart. They put two and two together really, really fast.
People just started moving in from all over town. There were people everywhere.
Good. We're just waiting for the fog to clear. We probably got another 45 minutes, but that is the best viewing spot I've probably ever seen. Dude, it's so cool. Just hometown of Annapolis. All my friends, all my family, everybody's down there. It's surreal. It truly is. Like, I just want to kind of get this first jump over with, so a little nervous right now. For the big jump downtown at Rigo Alley, I brought in all of my main crew, the guys that I worked with for the Red Bull Near No Limits jumps.
World record attempt.
When I was thinking about that, I'm like, man, these guys also had the landing that they said was super grippy when I was supposed to stop, and I just smashed into the wall.
We were pretty nervous in the practice. He was having a hard time even coming close to stopping way past the cones that they had set up where the building would be. So, wow, this could get hairy real quick.
So hindsight, I'm coming up to it going, all right, I know the ramp's built perfect. I know everyone has done their homework. But if I go through this restaurant and valet park it straight in the bar with all my friends and family and all the news crews watching, I'm like, this is it. I have to move.
On his first jump, didn't really have much of a problem, but he did go a couple mile an hour slower than he was hoping to. So the next time he was going to go faster. And
for me, jumping Eagle Alley it's such an iconic location. It's something that I grew up on the water on boats, and to have the World Championship boat with one of my best friends, Britt Lilly, multiple-time world champion, also from Annapolis, Maryland, wheeling that powerboat at 100 miles an hour in a 6 mile an hour no wake zone while I flew over top of him in a car, and having everything go really well. That was okay, that one leaked. That was pretty cool.
We're literally just doing donuts right now so that people think it's over and go home.
I was trying to do some donuts to just get everyone away, and I pulled the power steering too hard, so it has a lot of pressure there, and it just had to change some stuff around.
We pushed the car back around the corner to service, change the power steering pump, and had them going, within 20 minutes, half hour real quick, so it didn't hold anything up because they were getting ready for the next shot anyway, so it worked out pretty good.
I think us as a team did a great job making sure it showed up ready to go, and it was ready to go.
With everyone settling into a rhythm, the days now start moving quickly.
Cars are not easy to jump. They don't fly well. They're not shaped properly to go through the air. They're not planes.
You could jump a semi-truck, a bus loaded with people, a motorcycle, a snowmobile, a car. They all fly the same until you get downforce becomes a factor around 70, 75 miles an hour.
For an aero package to work, every element has to be designed to work in harmony with the next. It's an invisible puzzle of airflow and knock-on effects. To learn the true story, the team couldn't rely solely on computer simulations. Real-life applications had to be tested.
We created a 40% scale, accurate vehicle. It had everything. It had working suspension, steering. That goes into a wind tunnel, which has a moving surface to simulate the road underneath. So you can replicate in great detail the car sliding at different angles, acceleration and braking movements. And then also the final one is for the car to actually be lifted up so that the wheels are fully dropped out to simulate what is it going to do during flight.
The complete package starts with first contact at the nose of the car.
We started at the front. We've got additional dive planes, a lower one and an upper one. As you work around the car, we come up over the fenders. There's some fences to contain the air and to focus it at some aero winglets that are on the top of the fenders.
As airflow moves over the car, air is sculpted and directed exactly where it's needed. While downforce is one part of the equation, engine and driveline cooling is another.
So you have to put the air on the door surface in order that it comes into the radiator.
The air is then directed to the final wing element.
The rear wing is a double element with an active upper element. Mainly its primary function was to activate it for when the car is in flight. The driver can force the rear wing up and add approximately 50% more rear downforce at that point. So it contains the flight path. And then it's got two extensions with additional side plates,
which are really in open air. So the air will go directly to it. And this giving much more efficiency because what is on the side is much more efficient than what is on the center.
While straight line aero is the most traditional concern, the team also focused its attention to the unique Gymkhana application in hopes of adding additional control while drifting.
Down the sides of the fenders, there's also additional aero winglets. They're intended for when the car is sliding. The air is applied to the side as a side force, but then we also contain that air and we create more downforce.
The air is acting on a wing or acting on an element. If it's designed efficiently, it will not slow the car down, but provide more downforce and then give more grip through the tires.
So this whole package works together. because you have the diffuser that accelerates the flow underneath the car. When you accelerate the flow, you create some downforce. So at low speed it doesn't affect a lot because the aerodynamic downforce in low speed is really neglectable. But at high speed we have a high level of downforce which increase a lot the drivability of the car.
Back in Maryland, on the final day of filming, one of the most deceptively challenging stunts has been left to the end. The country road jump will push both Travis and the equipment to the limit.
Yes, it's probably one of the craziest things we've ever done, and we've done some crazy things. You see a script or a storyboard, they kind of just mention, oh, this is gonna be a low amplitude, high speed jump. We do that, no problem, right? 80 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour, can go pretty far, 80 miles an hour. Oh, this one's 130 plus miles an hour.
When you see it in person, when you walk up that hill and see where the kicker ramp was, and you see the fences and the telephone poles and the trees and the branches that were hanging over the road, it looked like he was trying to fly a car 200 feet through a keyhole.
The twists of the road add to the complication. Travis must launch from one side of the road and land on the other.
This jump, according to my projectile calculator, I was gonna have to hit at approximately 130 miles an hour.
We're more than doubling the speed, and the aerodynamic effect is a squared function of the speed. So if we double the speed, we quadruple the aerodynamic effect.
So it's definitely the one I'm most nervous about, not just on this shoot, but on probably the past like 10 shoots.
So we talked about that extensively with the safety officers and with Travis, and he started at low speeds and worked his way up so we could see how the car would react.
If the car starts to be unstable, then this instability will accelerate the car in one direction or nose up or nose down, which can be dangerous for the landing.
When you have to do the craziest thing you've ever done on something you're not even sure is gonna work, and then you have to do it 5, 6, 7, 10 more times to try to get the best angle, the best shot that you possibly can, you still have to send it.
I mean, you could hear the car coming for a mile, just going through the gears.
And it felt like the hand of God just threw the car down. Knocked the wind out of me, thought I broke my back for a second, car shut off, gauges are going, everything's in the red. I'm short. I'm like, what just happened? How fast am I gonna have to hit it? If I go faster, is it gonna throw me down harder? Am I gonna make it any further? So I came out and I said, all right guys, up the rev limiter. Like, I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit as fast as the car will go. It might work, it might not, but that's our best shot.
Chris Yandel turns to me and he's like, this is sketchy. I completely agreed with him. It was terrifying. Travis knew what he had to do to make the stunt happen, and there was nobody that was gonna push him into doing it if he wasn't comfortable with it.
So I came over, it's hard coming around the corner, over the crest. And as I hit into the G-out right before the takeoff, the car goes, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. I thought it was rev limiter. I'm like, all right, I felt like I got there pretty quick, but all right. And I look at the speedometer, same speed.
In the last jump, he felt a big compression from the landing. There's an accelerometer on the seat, and that recorded 19 Gs. His comment was the car was fine, but he didn't feel he could take any more of that physically, like his back was compressing on the landing, so.
Was it a huge jump? Yes. Was it a cool shot? Yes. Was it what I wanted? No. No, that hurt a lot.
The country road jump is in the books. The production is almost at an end.
So the last shots today are gonna be at Pastrana land, so we're gonna get the car kind of checked over.
The car is a monster. Literally, this thing has been banged, smashed, slammed into the floor at 150 miles an hour, a 220-foot jump, and still pretty much intact.
4 days passed in what felt like a matter of minutes. Some required commitment. Some required precision.
The ideas were bigger than life, and we had about 5 to 7 stunts a day and one car. So the fact that Subaru Motorsports USA was able to build me a car that withstood, well, me, That was amazing.
They're over the top, these guys. The engineering and the talent, the technicians, the fabricators, the composite guys. It's amazing. It's just amazing.
You're so happy it's finished. You're so proud of the team. You're so amazed for myself. I couldn't be more proud. Proud of everybody.
All right, everyone, thank you very much for an amazing couple of days. But that's a wrap! Thank you, everybody. Awesome.
Thank you to everybody for making this such a successful shoot, and this was freaking awesome. Thank you, guys.
There's no podium celebration, no victory lap, but there is very much a sense of accomplishment. Every crew member carries with them their experience. For many on this team, it was a year's work and more coming to fruition.
I think everybody that was involved in this project really had fun doing it and was very happy with the end result, both from the perspective of the car and the build that we did and the video that Hoonigan's going to produce.
The hard part to explain is the value of those impressions. That's better than any TV show, anywhere. And they're probably going to watch it more than once.
A moment of reflection before packing up for the return home. For the one man behind the wheel, it was a dream come true.
I've never been so out of control and so committed in my entire life. But hey, rather be lucky than good any day. We pulled it off.
Travis had a lot of fun making some of these moments come to life that he's thought about for a long time.
It begs the question of what might come next for this unique machine. It's a car still with untapped potential.
This marks a good stamp on the beginning of what's next for Vermont Sports Car.
I think you can expect to see more from us in the future, whether it's Gymkhana or whether we'll have other special projects like this where we just throw the rule book away and try to do something crazy just because it's crazy. Won't commit to anything, can't commit to anything, but I think there's a lot in the future that we could potentially do.